Welcome to Resilient Minds 365, where we discuss the resilient stories of entrepreneurs, professionals, and students with mental illnesses to encourage you to strive, thrive, and live in abundance. I'm your host, Cleoni Crawford. Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of Resilient Minds 365. I'm Cleoni Crawford, your host. Today, guys, we have a special guest with you all the way from UK. We have Harriet Barnsley with us. Who is Harriet Barnsley? Well, Harriet Barnsley is a Philosphy Grad who is birthed out of Birmingham, England. She is currently writing a memoir. In her life, she has experienced an RTC, which is a road traffic collision, and is now a wheelchair user. In addition, she lives with TBI, which is traumatic brain injury, bipolar, psychosis, and is a road safety advocate. With that said, I now present to you Harriet Barnsley. Harriet, how are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. I can't complain. It's been an up and down day, but
Yeah, I feel that.
yeah, it's definitely been an up and down day, but it's a good day nonetheless. So, Harriet, maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what you do, your profession, how you got started. Yeah, just tell us a little bit more about what you're currently doing and what you have done.
What I'm currently doing, well, so I'm currently volunteering for 3 different organisations. One of them is a newspaper so I volunteer as an editor for a newspaper that's read out loud for the blind and partially sighted. I volunteer for Scope, a disability charity. I volunteer on a helpline for people in need that are like lonely, sad, or suicidal. I'm a wheelchair tennis player. I play that on a regular basis. I do a variety of little things really, rather than one big main thing. So yeah, I'm writing a memoir. I've been writing for a while about my recovery from getting hit by a car, which I'll go into after this. Yeah. And now I'm just trying to live a good life, like exercise and eat well and just and meditate and do bits of yoga and just trying to add in as many positive things I can to my life.
Okay, cool. So you're writing a memoir. What motivated you to write this memoir? Well, I understand that we're going to talk a little bit more about that later, but
what motivated me to start writing the book?
Yes.
Yeah. So I had a really big accident. It was the worst of my life. And then a few years later, I started a blog to kind of communicate, just tell the world a little bit more about what the pain that I was going through and kind of make sense of it myself. And lots of people reached out. I've had saying I had one friend reach out saying she was mentally paralyzed, couldn't get out of bed, had to have medication to get out of the room to the toilet, and then just saw what happened to me on Facebook, and then saw my little milestones, oh, I stood up today for the first time in 4 months, and every little milestone, and it kind of gave her the courage and strength to get better and move out and get a job and have a life for herself. And I've had that was a very a big example, but I've had a lot of people reach out to me saying seeing what you go through and what you continue to go through despite all the challenges, and what you make of life really inspires me to cope better with mine. So then I just, after writing a blog for several years, I was like, I don't really enjoy the writing process. So I was like, I want to reach more people. I want to write a book about it, and that's to put it in a different way and get through to different people, because if you want to learn something in life, generally you don't want someone to say, this is what you should do, this is how you fix problems. You want to I don't know, go away and research it yourself and find out take different bits of people's stories that speak to you.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Cool. That makes sense. That makes sense. Well, thank you very much for sharing that. Your process and your motivation for writing your new book. So when do you hope to have it published?
I've got most of it written. I've got like 100,000 words written. I'm just currently growing a social media platform following to then get it out, to hopefully get a literary agent and then get it all sorted. If not, I'm gonna self-publish it when I get around, when I finish it. But I don't know. So it's important with a book to have an audience to then show it to get it kind of recognized. And I've got 17,000 followers on Twitter, and I've started to grow it on Instagram, and just the more people that I can reach to then hopefully reach with the book, I can also reach to talk about other things like road safety and important matters. I think it'll always be good to have a good reach.
Right. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, cool. Well, thanks for letting us know what you do. So we're gonna move into the mental health piece of the interview. With that said, my first question to you is, what is your mental health diagnosis and when were you diagnosed?
It was organic mood disorder. I've had slash psychosis slash bipolar. I don't know which one of those overrules it. Maybe bipolar is the most recent one. So that's the one we're dealing with. I don't know that, but the brains are a funny thing, aren't they? But and I received that diagnosis in September 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I started to suffer from the mental health thing. So that from a traumatic brain injury gave me mood disorder and different problems. I started to suffer from that almost straight away after getting the injury, and then spent 6 years not knowing what on earth was going inside my head, just thinking it was just specifically to me, because I thought it was just my specific brain injury, and that how every brain's different, and all of a sudden, so the things that were going on in my head, I thought they were just, I didn't know how to make sense of them. So it took 6 years till I got the diagnosis, and the diagnosis has been really freeing because now I know what I'm working with.
That's good. Okay, that's good. Okay. And the next question, so tell us your mental health story of resilience. What did you have to go through? The whole journey. What was the journey like?
Okay, so I never had mental health problems before I got hit by a car. And then in 2014, I was standing in a bus stop with my oldest best friend, and a car crashed into the bus stop at 101 miles an hour, which is 60 miles an hour over the speed limit of the road, killed my friend instantly, put me into a coma. And then I woke up the coma to a new world that I just couldn't really comprehend it. How do you get your head around what's happened? I've got permanent fatigue. I had bones growing in the muscle of my hip for 5 months, ripping apart our muscle. Morphine didn't take away the pain. I was lying in hospital, couldn't move a single part of my body, and didn't know what was going on or what had happened. But just kind of chose to deal with it and cope as much as I could. For the 5 years after that, I just did all the physical recovery. I tried as hard as I could to bury all the pain that I felt inside and just work on get myself stronger. And then after 5 years, I didn't sleep. I stopped sleeping quite soon after getting hit by a car. But so I didn't sleep. I sleep for 20 minutes a night most nights. And then I got really, really, really sad, and felt I just didn't know how to keep up with the normal world. I didn't feel like I fit in with the normal world anymore, and just not even sad, just got depressed, just got flat, just had nothing in my head. There was nothing, I couldn't think of anything to say, couldn't think of anything to do, couldn't think of anything at all. Massive mind fog for 3.5 months every single second of the day. And I thought I had to die to escape the pain. But when I was sitting in my car waiting to die, the car behind me didn't crash into me and kill me. It just bumped it, And then the police pulled me out of my car and put me in a jail cell every night where they were looking for a hospital bed for me. And in that time, I'd closed my eyes and was in the psychosis nightmare where like I literally I lived in hell for like it felt like an eternity. And I can remember like all the treatment that was done to me and all the horrible things. It's just like, yeah. And then getting out of that headspace has been the most freeing thing ever. Just not actually living in hell, not being stuck in the terror that was my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that answers your whole question. I can't remember.
No, that does. It does. Definitely. Definitely. Wow. That sounds like a crazy journey.
Yeah, I mean the interesting thing with psychosis, I don't know if you know much about psychosis, is the whole like I just got detached from reality because reality was so hard. I just couldn't understand like the world that I was really physically active before. I was really physically like I was athletic and I'd run all the time. I'd stand up on my feet for work all the time, and now I can't ever do that again. So I've had to learn by like and I can walk a little bit, but I have to use a wheelchair for any distance, and just not being able to like move my body has been like I lost that train of thought. And you said, what did you say? Sorry.
The question
Yeah.
is, tell us your mental health story of resilience.
Maybe the last little bit.
I forgot the last question.
I don't know. No, I can't remember either. Sorry.
That's okay. So we'll move to the next question. So what did you have to do to overcome or bounce back from your low points? List all the resources.
From all of my low points, for like the serious bipolar, blocked out absolutely nothing in my mind, thinking I had to die. I just had to keep going. I keep going and wait out the time. Like it's just, I don't know. I don't really like. Still fairly new to bipolar, but like I've had 3.5 month periods that are just like blackness, that I can't feel any joy or anything at all. So, and whenever I have a high, I then if I go too high, because I can get massive highs, but then the low is like a natural come down, is the worst thing of the world. That kind of stops me from chasing the high. But I just have to ride it out, because like same with, I suppose, any sort of mental problem at all, or any struggle, is that you've just got to keep going. Like you've just got to like hold on, and like I know I lost all hope, but I still like had like an inkling inside me, hoping that something would happen and something would change so that I could make it through.
Mm-hmm.
And then that turned out to be getting sectioned, was like getting put into a mental hospital was like what I needed, because I could surrender. I didn't have to look after myself, and I wasn't in a state to function properly. And they looked after me, they fed me, they changed the bed sheets, they like gave medication and kind of monitored me. And I needed to kind of like surrender to that, to someone else helping.
So the mental hospital helped you a lot
Mm.
in your journey. Was there anything else that helped you to help you bounce back from your
I
low?
don't know. Mum's always helped me the whole time, and having people that accepted you, and even when I'm ill and saying things that aren't quite right, not having someone challenge me, having someone just accept me has been really important. Exercise has been like, but there's all the different little bits, like all the different bits of self-help kind of together. Like it's not just one specific thing. It's making choices to look after myself, and go take the hard route rather than the fast easy route, like purposely avoiding drinking alcohol when you don't feel well, because it doesn't ever help a mental state.
Okay. All right. The next question I have is, what are 3 things you wish you had available when you were at your lowest point?
Right, I wrote these down, didn't I, for you, so I'm gonna get them back up again.
Okay.
Okay, 3 things that I wish that I had available at my lowest point. The knowledge that I was suffering from bipolar, rather than thinking it was just a specific mental condition for me that no one else could relate to. I remember Googling things, being like, trying to find more that felt the exact specific things that I was feeling, and I couldn't find them on Google, and I was just desperate. I needed someone that knew it. But then now being able to see in hindsight that was bipolar would have helped a lot, because now I can understand what that what's happening in my brain is actually a medical condition. A condition is something that can be like treated with medication. And what other people's stories of how they'd overcome similar things. Again, I thought I was like, what's it, a man on an island. I thought I was just the only one that had my specific circumstances, and find my stories and experience is very specific, but there are so many overlaps with so many different people's stories. I just like, it's human connection and people and learning about other people's struggles and watching how they dealt with them, or like, I just was desperate for information on how other people had faced horrendous things and got through it. Like, that would have like really like helped. And just finding like something would have finding a way to deal with the 3.5 bipolar lows, because like I know that I'm going to have another one in the future, and medication doesn't touch it. I've just had to wait them out. It's just been, I've just sat there just been like, well, there's no, what's the point of me existing if I can't talk to people, or it was no fun to be around, and I don't enjoy any of the things I like I'd like a way to deal with them, but I think I just have to go through them. Like, I think if I'm gonna live with bipolar, that's just something that's going to be part of my life. It's just really scary, isn't it? Like, it's every single second of the day for like, and 3.5 months isn't a long time to some people. They have things for years, but I don't know how to survive that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. My next question to you is, what words of hope can you give to our listeners? What would you tell them?
I'd just always say keep going. I'd just say keep going, and and believe it or not, you can deal with whatever is thrown at you. You can deal with it. You might not like it, or it might not be convenient or ideal, but you're able to accept whatever you get through, like whatever comes your way, and that in itself is freeing. And you can do it. Like, we've all got it inside of us.
Right. And my next question is, what's it like? What was it like going from being in someone who's standing, who you
To
know, to be,
disabled.
to being disabled, to being in a wheelchair?
Really, really, really hard. It's like, but I think of all the of all the disabilities, I think it's slightly more accepted now. Like, there's the whole world. There's like people are nice to me when I'm in a wheelchair. They'll like specific, they'll smile at me and ask if I need anything. They'll like, because it's a recognised disability. But like for ones that like, for different challenges, like, I don't know, different mental illnesses or problems, I think if you're not in a with an aid to show that you're like physically disabled, you don't get recognized as much. It's hard, because like, as a going from able to disabled means that like I know what I've lost, and I know what I was capable of, and like I know all the things that I could do that I can never do again. And it's trying not to focus on those and wish that people, because it's really hard to keep up with the real world in a wheelchair. And like, I have, my friends would see me, and their friends that knew me before, they'd be like, oh, can we not just go for this, go to this place, like, you want to come to this gig, or like go for a walk, or just even come to the pub and just like come to the distance, and they can't seem to comprehend, or couldn't seem to comprehend, that I can't keep up, and it's not physically possible. Like, I just, people, because I look quite normal, like I look able, apart from the fact that I've got a constant foot splint, and I use crutches for little distances and wheelchair for bigger. But then even then I get out of the wheelchair when I arrive at places, and people kind of look at me and think, oh, you're faking it, sort of thing. And it's a bit like, why would I sit in the wheelchair in the first place if I didn't need one, you know?
Why would you?
Mm.
Wow. Okay. And how is the grieving process um, for you for when you became in the wheelchair?
Well, at first I never really I didn't really grieve for myself because my best friend was with me at the time and died, and like she was the most important person to me outside my family. So I kind of just like didn't want to feel bad for myself when she was dead. Like but like eventually over time I kind of had to, like, I've grieved very 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 slowly for myself in little pieces. Like it's hard to be sad that your body's not as able and your mind is not as able, but still know that you can live a beautiful life. It feels ungrateful. I feel like I don't want to moan to the rest of the world about all the things that I find hard.
Mm-hmm.
So it's been just a very staggered process that's like,
Okay, cool. So now we are going to switch topics a little bit. Um, so basically, as you can see behind me, there's a book. The book is called The Music of My Life. It's about my journey with music therapy and bipolar disorder. So my question to you is, what type of music do you like?
I want to ask you questions about your story and your book. Okay, no. Music, no. So music, I absolutely love grime music. I absolutely love grime and rap, but I don't know why. It's just so alive and so energetic, and they're so humorous and they're just so clever with their words. And the bass is always good.
Cool, cool. So grime and rap.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So I've never heard of grime music before. Can you give me an example of one song that you like?
I'll give you an example of so you know Wiley.
Who?
Wiley? No?
Wiley?
Yeah.
No.
Like I don't know, Skepta, JME, you don't know, you've never heard of grime. Like, but is it a British thing? I don't know. Like
Maybe, maybe. I'll have to look it up.
I mean, yeah, I can't comprehend it. I just wait, I'm gonna get my grime playlist up and just like see. So have you ever heard of Stormzy?
Hmm?
Stormzy? Have you ever heard of Stormzy?
Stormzy.
Yeah.
No. I'll look them up.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So sorry, I can't.
I'll look it up. Stormzy. Okay, cool. So my next question to you, if you were to think of a song that best describes your journey, what would it be and why?
Yeah, I have no idea how to answer that. Like, I mean, there are cheesy, corny songs, but I don't feel like they fit me. I feel like they're quite like, I
Okay.
want, I don't know, I want like a really cool rap song to kind of sum it up, but I can't think of one. Wait, yeah. What would you pick?
For you, I would pick Eye of the Tiger from Survivor.
Thank you. It's a flattering choice of song.
Yeah, I like that song. It's a really cool song.
Tell me about your music therapy and your
Well, for me, I just listen to a lot of music, and sometimes I'll either sing or freestyle rap. And I used to dance. Um, Music therapy is big for me, like where I would engage in a lot of musical expressions, um, just to kind of cope with my illness.
to like release tension and stuff, to kind
Yeah.
of get it out of you.
Yeah, it does. Like for instance, when I was going through my depression, for 1 month, I played the song Happy from Pharrell for 1 month straight. And it's just so I can get out of the depression. And so I would dance to it, I would sing to it, and I would just keep playing it over and over and over until I actually was able to connect with the lyrics.
To give you like a little bit of respite, just a break from your like feeling so like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so music therapy is very important to me. I think it's important. I think that hospitals and that they should have music therapy programs, you know, because it's helpful.
So I really, really relate to like all of that because so whenever I get ill I've been put in hospital twice with psychosis, and each time they take my driving license off me because obviously like, you know, I've got a medical license and I'm not safe to drive if I'm ill.
Mm-hmm.
But that's like a double-edged sword, because when I'm well and I'm fine, like because I can't do the physical exercise, and I can't like, you know, run to music or walk to music and stuff, I get in my car and I put on like all like my favorite songs and just drive around like in the sun, just listening to it, kind of like that's like takes the place of like not being able to ever run again. I kind of get it from that. So like when I'm not allowed to drive because I'm ill, it's kind of like, but that really helps me. It's really like medicine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, music is definitely medicine for sure, for sure. So my last question is, how can we stay in touch with you? What are your social media handles?
Cool. Yeah, thanks. So one of the best ways is to find a way to reach me is to just type Harriet Barnsley into Google. My Twitter is Harriet Barnsley. I assume that you're going to write my name on this thing afterwards. My blog is called This Too Shall Pass 464, but just like put my name into Google and you'll be able to find a way to contact me. But probably best on Twitter really, because that's our main platform for. Yeah.
Find you. Perfect.
Yeah.
So in the show notes, I will be posting your contact information based on what you've sent to me already.
Yes, please. That'd be great.
Yeah, I'll be posting your information in the show notes. Yeah, well, Harriet, well, thank you very much for being a guest on our show. We learned so much. It was definitely a really great story.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for being a guest on the show. Really appreciate it. With that said, to all you resilient minds out there, until next time, please subscribe to us on all our platforms and don't forget to rate the show and leave a review for us on Apple Podcasts. Also join the community of Resilient Minds and sign up for our monthly newsletter at CleoniCrawford.com. Be sure to grab a copy of my book, The Music of My Life, on all Amazon marketplaces to get to know me better. If you can think of one person that can receive value from today's show, or who can receive value from today's testimony or connect with the testimonial, please share it with them. Feel free to share. Feel free to take a screenshot of this week's episode of the podcast and tag us on Instagram. You can tag myself at Only Cleoni and Resilient Minds 365. And remember, mental health is not a death sentence. Despite your illness, you can strive, thrive, and live a life of abundance. Until next time, I'm Cleoni Crawford, and I'm signing off.